What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. Bye, singing dog. Bye, goal.
I pronounce you.
Bye, wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, it's me. Remember me? You know, the girl that hasn't been on radio all week? I'm kidding. I was on radio on Wednesday. Who am I trying to kid? Hi, everyone. It is a very cold, a very brisk, a very uncomfortable Friday morning in the city of Wisconsin. I have to tell you that one of the things that warms my heart, and no pun intended, is today's guest. And why? Because it's the only free time I have all day. If you've been following me, you already know, of course, that I'm in a mad dash here to try to finish 2 textbook writings in 2 weeks with 150 pages. So I'm going out of my mind. So the fact that I get to do radio and speak to this lovely, accomplished, amazing actress is making me so excited I can't stand it. Let me just do quick show reminders real fast before we forget. As you all know, I have delayed all of my shows with the exception of Scott's show on Wednesday, today's show, and there will be one more possibly next week. I'm waiting to find out if actor William Tenner will be coming on the show. Outside of that, we will be resuming on December 20th, and we are having none other than the star of the Nightmare on Elm Street series, Lisa Wilcox. She'll be coming on our show on the 20th of December, time to be determined. So do tune in and listen into her show. So I'm not going to keep our lovely guest waiting any longer. Let's get her on the line and start talking. Well, good morning, young lady.
Well, good morning. How are you this fine morning?
Well, you're the highlight of my day. I ain't gonna lie about that one. I got about 20 pages to write today, and you're probably it. You're like my excitement. I'm so excited and so nervous. You're a big deal. You're a huge deal. Did you know that?
Oh my! No, I didn't.
No, you are. First of all, your publicist tells me that you are. Just kidding. Yes, she does, but that's not the reason you're wonderful. No, I've creeped on you. I did a lot of research. I've gone behind your back. I've asked people about you. I've learned lots of things. And you're lovely. You're a very little woman. You're like 5'3", to those that don't know. I've never seen a picture of her. You're this little teeny tiny 5'3" person. And I'm like, oh my God, look at all that. It's all that pretty all in one punch. That's what I call it. She's pretty all in one punch.
Thank you so much.
I have a question. Well, you're quite welcome. That's actually my intro into my very first question. I like to ask a lot of questions to actors because people that listen in are either wanting to get into industry, but they don't kind of understand some of the industry stuff, let's say. So here's what I want to ask first. You're a woman who's 5'3". Now, as you know, you get cast oftentimes by the way you look, your age, etc. So tell me a little bit about the height thing. With you being a little bit on the tinier side, does that work as an advantage or disadvantage when it comes to casting and such?
Well, the camera makes everything look bigger than it is. They say it puts on 10 pounds of weight. I think it puts on more than 10. It makes people look taller. It makes them look bigger. And so most actors in Hollywood are very small. They really are. And in Hollywood, I'm not really that tall. I mean, that short.
Oh, my gosh.
I have a really... it wasn't funny at the time, but a funny story. When I was younger, I was a tour guide at Universal Studios. And sometimes we got to usher at the amphitheater for a little overtime. Or we could actually get tickets. So I got tickets to go one night, and I had a little bit too much to drink. And I ran into one of my friends who was a tour guide who was ushering that night. She was talking to this gentleman, and I walked over and I'm talking to her, and she said, this is the Bionic Man. And I turned around and I looked at this guy and I said, no, it's not. And I kept talking to her, and she said, no, really,
oh my gosh,
it really is the Bionic Man. And they did film it on the lot, but I had one too many. And I argued with her. That's not him. The real guy is handsomer and he's taller.
Oh my gosh! Listen to you.
And
he's handsomer.
Really was him. Yeah. And he's taller.
Oh my God!
Because television really does make you, or the camera really does make you look taller. It felt like at the time that he was my height. He was probably maybe 5'6", 5'8".
Okay.
A lot of the men are small, and of course the women are.
Sure, of course. And what I find interesting about that is, like, for instance, like you're saying with the camera. Now, do you ever get the same concerns about, like, obviously, I'm 5'6" and I'm like 142 pounds, and I'm walking around and I'm saying I need to drop like 15 pounds because I'm so fat I can't stand it. So is the camera your friend when it comes to appearance as well, like how you dress, how the costumes fit, things like that? Would the same rule apply then?
Oh, absolutely. That's why they like the women to be very thin. Because the camera does put on the weight. It's easier to dress someone who's thin because then they can pretty much wear anything.
Okay.
Those of us that are a little bit more curvy either have to play that curvy role, or then they have to try to figure out ways to make us look, slimmer. Now,
I know what you
really
mean.
good is some of the plus-size women now are really, getting really good roles.
Right.
I don't know her name. The woman that's on This Is Us, is, breaking all the rules as far as what people think should be on TV. So it's more inclusive now.
I see what you're
it's
talking
really
about.
a handicap to be very tall because then you're towering over everybody, and it's hard to get the shots.
See, we don't think about things like that. You know what I mean? Like I get dressed and I'm going out someplace and I'm like, oh, if I just wear 3-inch heels, I'll match up to everybody. Because sometimes the heels will make it work for you. Just kind of deck yourself a little bit up. But I don't have to act and I don't have to worry about the camera, so it's a little bit different for me. But that's why I guess I asked that.
In real life, when you're 5'3", I was at a party last night. And it was a very crowded hallway. Well, everyone else was probably 5'10" or taller. Then I felt so
Oh, my gosh, listen to you. How cute is this? Well, and too, oftentimes, like I said, that's one of the things that people think about is you have to think about the way you look. You have to think about appearance and stuff like that. One of what I think is totally awesome about you, one of the 1,000 things that we'll talk about, which is you're actually an alto singer. And so, first of all, define for our listening audience, alto gives you the ability to sing high, low, etc. So talk a bit about your range and depth as it relates to your singing. Or do you even sing anymore, or do you just do it for the camera?
I was going to say, let's define singing.
Okay. Well, it's part of your biography, darling. So when it says, oh, she's a singer, that would lead me foolishly to think you can sing. Maybe I'm delusional.
I know. Yes. No, I apparently was delusional. Well, you have to put everything on your resume like you can do it.
Right.
And then you figure out how to do it when they ask you to.
Oh, I get it now. Okay. So I guess maybe the better question is, can she sing?
No.
Crap. Way to go on that journalistic tip.
No, I've been asked not to sing. So.
Oh, my God. Okay, then. Good thing she can act because she can't sing, apparently.
That is so funny because when you started saying I was an alto, I thought, yes, but how would anyone know that?
Well, it's part of my job to know this stuff. It is, honestly, because, it is. And I discovered it, and I'm like, bam. Because most people would know that. Like, obviously, if the person's listening in today, they've never heard of you before, and it's like, oh, look, now they're going to think, oh, she's an actress, she can sing. And now in reality, they're just going to think, oh, great. Now that fool who interviewed her didn't even know she can't even sing. Well, we're not going to talk about that singing part.
No. For public knowledge, I sing. I'll just learn how before they ask me.
Okay. I get it. So if anybody wants to book her for a party, tell her 3 months in advance. She can practice. No acting gigs. We're just going to practice. We'll do what we can. Okay. Check mark there. Okay. Call her 3 months in advance. Okay, good. We're good on that. Okay. Now, obviously, I understand that you're an LA native. So I want you to talk a little bit about this because some people don't quite, I live in Wisconsin, but my heart is in New York City, and I'm eventually moving there because I'm in entertainment, and that's where entertainment, is rich and abundant, is, of course, LA, New York City. So, you live in a very competitive, as I'm sure you know, a very competitive state. Rules are very tight. There are tons of actors, actresses. Hollywood is located there. For some strange reason, I say to myself, because I couldn't check in your resume here to see, I don't think, have you actually done actual stage theater before? Because I thought it would be a real neat niche to discover an LA native who actually has done theater, because that doesn't seem like your thing in LA. Forgive me if I'm mistaken, but I haven't met.
I've done some theater. Years ago, I did more theater.
Okay.
Theater in Los Angeles is not what it is in New York.
That's what I thought.
The big plays come in with the cast from back east, pretty much.
Okay.
And the smaller theater in LA just doesn't pay anything. And it's a lot of hard work and very time consuming. Sure. People who love theater, which I did when I was much younger, it's, it is wonderful. Theater is magical, whether it's New York or LA.
Oh, yes.
But you got to make a living, and very few people make very few people make a living in theater anywhere.
Right.
But especially in LA.
I gotcha. Okay, so it is a little avant-garde or out of the norm as far as that goes and such. So I guess that would bring us back to the initial question, which is, obviously, of course, the competition's fierce. I mean, I hear it in New York City all the time. In fact, you've got 17 people going for the same role all the time, et cetera. Would you classify yourself, let's say, to me, you just don't look LA-ish. Is that a bad thing to say? I mean, I don't think it is, because I'm more the New York type. But, you don't fit that classic, forgive me for saying this, but some of these types of people that I've met before. I've come to LA and I've met publicists, or I've met, actors and things like that, people in the business. And they tend to be a little, a lot more laid back than you would expect. Does that make sense? Like almost too passive, if you will?
I'm from LA, so laid back is what we do. See,
okay, so I'm not imagining it. Okay, good.
Oh, no,
not crazy. Check mark.
I like,
cool.
You say you love New York, and I'm like, why would anyone love New York? I get it.
Well, no, I know what you're saying.
I commend you for moving to New York. I wish everyone would take your advice and move to New York. If we could, the borders I want to close are California. Okay.
I got it. Nobody can go there.
The country. No one else can come in. And if we could get even 50% to go home, wherever that may be, I would be very happy.
Oh my gosh,
no more. No more.
Oh my gosh.
No, I'm not a New York type person. I couldn't have to go to New York. Like you're talking about, it's cold there now. It's cold here, but cold here is 61.
I know, right? Oh my God. Obviously we organized this interview through Maria, and her and I just met for the very first time in San Diego. I was actually in San Diego like a month and a half ago for the Horror Film Festival, and her and I were a panelist on the same panel together. And I just couldn't believe how I was walking in shorts, like you're talking about. It's absolutely beautiful. But I have to tell you, your city is a little overwhelming. Like, you fly into LA, and I'm like, I don't know how to get anywhere. I'm trapped at an airport. I'm like, I don't want to rent a car, and I'm thinking, how do I get around? It's like, it's huge. Everything is huge. I'm like, I went from one stop to another step. Everything is big. I mean, it's very big. The Hollywood parties are Hollywood parties. You know what I mean? And everything is so red carpety. In New York, there's a red carpet, but it's a little more scaled down. You guys are the more big stuff. And in fact, this post me to ask you.
We have red carpets for envelope openings. Believe me.
And that cracks me up too, because everything is like, it's a stunning red carpet. Number one A-list celebrities. Every time I get an invitation from it's all these number one celebrities, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh. Okay, so I have to ask you this question because I'm going to respect your opinion. I just went to see the new Tom Ford movie last night. Nocturnal Animals just came out. And Tom Ford hasn't done a movie in a long time. And this is based in LA. This was shot in LA and all this good stuff. So I want to talk a little bit about this because you can provide some insight on this. It's a $20 million project that was made. I have to tell you, I have to tell you that I wasn't impressed. I left there thinking to myself, if you just took that $20 million, gave it to every indie filmmaker that I know, and they produced all their movies, we'd have like 100 really great movies for that $20 million spent on the one movie. So this is the intro to the question I want to ask you. As an actress, do you feel that the bigger budget productions are still delivering that big bang, or do you feel as though the new trend in filmmaking now is headed more towards the independent projects and they're finding themselves having a little more success? Because I know it's true and prevalent in New York City. Indie is huge, obviously. I would surmise in LA it might be the same case, but I'll let you talk about that.
Everybody needs so much content. There is room for everybody at the table at this point.
Exactly. I agree. Definitely.
Just content. There is so much stuff on TV. Sometimes when I have nothing to do, I'll just flip through the channels, and there is stuff on TV that it's like, why is anyone watching this? But it's on there.
Oh, my God. She just said that. I wouldn't have, but no, I would have, but she said it, so that's okay. No, I agree. I mean, do you ever turn that on? And that's how I was in the movie. I'm like, have I been here for 2.5 hours? And I can't believe I sat through this. And it's television, too. It's TV. It's web series. I've seen it on Netflix. Not a lot, but I've seen it there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think there is enough room at the table. I wish more people realize that. There is a lot of room there, and that can make room.
It's getting the money, like you said.
Right.
If they can take that $20 million and divide it, you know.
Right.
And
right.
I just heard this morning, just before I came on the show, and I wish I had been able to listen to the story, but I didn't know that Pharrell had produced this new movie about the women who worked at NASA, the 3 black women who worked at NASA.
Really? I didn't know that.
Was one of I didn't either, and he wrote the score. And I was just complaining the other day because my whole thing with Hollywood So White is, okay, then why doesn't Hollywood So Black produce some decent movies?
And there you go.
I was so excited because I thought, thank you, Pharrell.
Well, and you do know, I was just going to say, you do realize that Denzel has that movie coming out on Christmas Day. Fences. I can't wait to see that.
Actually, I've seen, now, Fences I've seen. I've actually seen.
Oh, we are so going there. We are so going there because I can't wait. So don't give it away because I'm in love with Denzel. Okay. I know he's married, but I just want to know, is it really? Oh, my God, it looks breathtaking. It really does.
It's a different kind of part for Denzel.
Okay.
But it's hard to even talk about without giving it away and without having a
doggone it.
So
okay, Cisco, is it a 5-star? Is it a 4-star? Would you recommend it? Should we go see it? You're killing me here.
I know. I think people should see it. But I'll preface it by saying August Wilson is a very wordy writer with lots of monologue and lots of color, but it's in words. So if you're looking for Star Wars, go see Star Wars first because you're not going to get it with Fences.
Yeah, that was my top tier 3. You know, the Fences movie was one of them. Last night was the Nocturnal Animals and Allied, the new Brad Pitt movie that looks exceptional with the foreign girl and the spy thing and all that stuff. But no, I agree with you. I love the fact. Well, like I said, when Denzel said he was going to do this, I thought, okay, that's terrific because I do feel oftentimes, and it isn't necessarily just minorities; it's certain ethnicities as well. You know, across the board, I think that there's room for expansion for our females, for African Americans, Mexican, Latin, you name it. I think we need to pump it up, without a doubt. And it's been like that for generations, and it's very sad. Because it's hard for a woman of color or a man of color, or it's hard for someone who's a different ethnicity to get excited about getting roles when there's so few of them. You know what I mean? Well, you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Obviously.
And universal type roles.
Right.
I mean, the Fences story, even though it is a black family, it's a socioeconomic story.
Right.
the NASA story is, it's inclusive. The whole everything that was going on. It's an American culture story. So, they're universal themes, so it's not like it's just appealing to a small audience, no matter what it is. It appeals to everyone.
Well, and he is such a great lead man. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I go see movies just because I like him. I admire his work. I think Viola Davis is amazing, considering I just saw her in Suicide Squad, and she was pretty badass, actually. So I mean, this is the alternative. So I'm very curious to see how that goes. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so now she kind of wrecked my excitement about fences there a little bit, and she can't sing.
No.
Okay.
But Denzel, Denzel's one of those. Denzel, you can just stand there, and I'll just watch you stand there, and that's fine.
Well, yeah.
So
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Right. I mean, right? I'm like, okay, fine. I think we need to, cast you in a role next to him. I think we need to work on that. I mean, wouldn't you just, die? I mean, I would die to be, 5 feet from him, let alone, acting in front of him, which would be awesome. Now, I have to ask you this very important question, just so you folks know. As I understand it, even though it was June, you had a birthday not so long ago. So you just turned, 30, right? 35?
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, crossing to 35 and getting to that new part of your life, actually. So this is I always like to ask this birthday question. So I say to myself, as we all age and we get a little bit older, and you're obviously an industry person with an extensive career. And so I guess from the personal standpoint, as you are starting to get further into your career, do you find yourself now being revitalized now and thinking to yourself, you know what, there's a whole lot of life left for me, and from the acting standpoint, do you feel like you want to push yourself more now as you progress along here, as you get a little bit older, or are you thinking maybe you just want to diversify your time a little bit, half work, half not work?
Well, my career has been checkered. I've done different things. Mm-hmm. I was in the entertainment industry in the 60s and 70s. That's 1960s and 1970s. For those who weren't born in that century.
Yes.
And I was young and crazy, and at the time, I just couldn't understand why I wasn't a movie star. I have come to understand as I've gotten older that I would be dead, or I would be some tragic story if I had become famous when I was that young. As so many people we see just flame out. But I had a relatively decent career in those times. And then I did some casting in the 80s. And then in the 90s, I got out of the business altogether.
Right.
And then in 2007, I came back into the business. Well, I've had more success in the business since I've been back. I did 3 years on Betty White's Off There Reatha's TV show as a series regular. I recently won what they call an African Oscar from the Nollywood African Film Critics Awards, and I've worked on shows like Castle, How I Met Your Mother, what else? The Newsroom, Key and Peele. I've gotten to do more since I've come back in the industry, really, than I did when I was younger.
Now, did that surprise you a little bit, do you think? Meaning having that success later on? I mean, did that shock you at all?
Well, the thing about Hollywood is they don't acknowledge women between the ages of 40 and 70.
I know.
It's like women go into a vacuum at 40, and you don't see them again until they're 70.
Right.
And so I was kind of absent during that age range where it was becoming such a struggle to get any work at all. Anyway, that I missed that. So I'm enjoying coming back, and a lot of the women, for me it's good because a lot of the women that stayed in the industry the whole time don't want to be seen as their age. They don't want to be seen as baby boomers. They still want to, be the ingenue, which means they don't go out on the auditions that I go out on, which is great because it's less competition.
Well, that's
because
exactly
I'll
right.
be the old woman, you know. I thought it for the longest time, and then I said, wait, that's what they're paying me to be. Why don't I try being what they want me to be?
That's exactly right. You betcha. And, we were just talking about this, and this is a really interesting question for you, because you mentioned the whole Hollywood thing and how women become that obsolete in the eyes of Hollywood at a certain age. So I was asking someone this question the other day in terms of Hollywood itself. Do you feel that they're transitioning into an area by which you feel as though things are going to get more limited? There's some fear out there amongst the acting community that things are going to become so much more selective over the course of time. Because like I said, for instance, that movie last night, Jake Gyllenhaal, Amy Adams, the bigger names get the bigger projects, obviously. There's a fear that things might just dry up in Hollywood, period, for individuals who aren't as established or who are feminine, or female, I should say. Any thought on that?
Well, again, they need so much content. Now, whether or not it's going to be made in Hollywood is a whole nother story. Because now you can be in the middle of nowhere and throw up a studio, and they will come. So
yes, I do.
Whether it's going to be made in Hollywood, I don't know. But I think that they just need so much content now. Now, the question becomes, do women between the ages of 40 and 70 have a story to tell that people are interested in? I think that they do, but are they going to be the star of the movie? I don't know. What I tend to see happen is that women that work, and I love Sandra Bullock, but, the woman was playing an astronaut at an age that she could not possibly be an astronaut.
Little unbelievable there, because you're talking about keeping it real.
Right, and we watch it, and because we love Sandra Bullock, we'll just love the movie. But in the real world, you have to either still be able to play that ambiguous, no, she's not really 50 role. Right. Or you have to play young or old stories for women within that age group.
I gotcha. So
possibly for that group to work, and again, probably they're going to have to write the story. And I think it's happening more.
Now, so does that mean if a filmmaker were to come to you and say to you, you know what, I want you to play 10 years your junior. This character is going to be about 10 years younger. Would you be willing to take on something like that? Do you feel that you'd be able to transform into that character appropriately to fit?
Well, in the real world, I still think I'm 25. So.
Well, we figured that. So just cast her for 30 plus.
Right.
Once you be 30, we'll be good. Mentally, that is. I guess she's a little over 30. Okay, go ahead.
But I think younger. My grandchildren hate it. My grandson told me one day, I wish you would stop hanging out with young people because you know all the new phrases, and I can't stand it.
Oh, my gosh. You think they'd be like, oh, my God, we have a hip grandma. She's totally with the times here. Ouch,
no.
That's got to hurt.
They want grandma to be grandma.
Oh, of course, because you're grandma.
Well, yeah. I just don't do
she just doesn't want to grow up kids. It's okay. We'll let you be how you are.
So.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that is just too funny.
I would play younger because that's kind of where I live in a younger world. But that's not what I get hired for. Most of the time I wear a wig, a gray wig, and play older.
Right.
Or that ambiguous older, again, like she could be 50, she could be 65. It's not age dependent, really. And a lot of times, those are the roles I'm actually most comfortable with, so that it's not.
Oh.
Well, but I enjoy playing old. I was saying last night I enjoy dying. I've died a couple of times as an old lady, just of natural causes. And
sorry about that. We're having a little technical difficulty there. Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay.
That's funny the way you say that. Yes, I enjoy dying. You're surely not going to hear that in real life, are you? Yeah, I died last week and it was great. This woman is odd, folks. But no, I totally get what you're saying. When you love what you do and you get to do something that you enjoy doing, that's awesome, though. That is. And that's obviously why we get into doing the things that we do. I wanted to notate this. I want to ask a question about your education. I know that you went to the LA City College for Theater Arts. Today and nowadays, because things have changed so much in the areas of theater and film and television, talk a little bit about, to those that might be listening in that are a little bit younger or first time getting started out in terms of educationally. There are some on some side of the fence that are actors that say, you know what, it's so important to continue your education every month, every couple months, every year, keep learning about your craft. The other side of the fence, some working actors are like, the best experience is actual working acting. So which side of the fence do you stand on that?
If you are doing if you're a series regular on a show, you need to make every day at work an acting class. I don't think that you need to necessarily continue. I mean, first of all, you're exhausted.
Well, of course.
But exactly. But most of us are not series regulars most of the time.
Gotcha.
I still take a class once a week, every week, faithfully, with the same person. It's not so much an acting class, because I think at some point you do pretty much develop your technique, but you have to do it. You have to practice all the time. So I'm not necessarily going to learn how to act every week, but it's an on-camera class. I go to be able to do, going to hire me for, but I get to stretch my craft. I get to see myself on camera every week, whether I worked on a TV show or a commercial or not, because most of the actors' work is auditioning. It's not working, at least for the first part, most of your career, actually. And we're talking about the older actors. I've gone full circle. Women that when I was young that were big stars are now, I'm auditioning with them now when I wasn't a big star back then. So,
oh my gosh.
You know, it goes full circle. So it's I tell people who are getting into the business, you need to keep current. You need to know what's going on in acting, and the only way you do that is to stay in the class, go to school. And then, of course, when you're not even working, of course you need to go to school. I mean, there are natural talents, but just the exercise of learning your craft will help you.
Oh, agreed. Absolutely, hands down. I know one of the things that you had been talking about there was doing commercial work. And to those of you that don't know, she's done a number of different commercials, two in particular. I know you've done Walmart before. I saw that you did a commercial for Hornitos Tequila, and I was thinking to myself, that must be interesting doing commercials for alcohol. And do they let you try it? Was that bad to ask? I have to ask. I'm like, oh, my gosh, she does a commercial for tequila. How many times do you have to try it? And then did you follow her? Because I've done that.
No. They don't let us drink. They don't let us drink the real tequila.
I know. I figured that.
And the commercial never aired, so it's one of those that never saw the light of day. It was kind of dirty, four dirty old ladies and the pool boy. And I think they decided that was a little hard.
Did you just hear that, folks? Yes, I'll admit I did a commercial and I played a dirty old woman. I want to know what she does at night, okay, in that house of hers in L.A. OMG. So let's talk commercial work a little bit. And I like to give my audience a little heads up on this. Give us a quick, short version of the day in the life of the commercial, because we all know, based on listening to all my other shows, we've talked about being on the set on TV and on film and such, but I don't think people really get the whole commercial concept. So, like, basically when you get booked for a commercial, is that like a short shot, so to speak, meaning the lines are less, the work is less? Talk to us a little bit about that experience.
Oh, your lines are definitely less, unless it's, one of those dreadful pharmaceutical commercials where they just go on and on and on and tell you how it's going to kill you. But most commercials, you have very few lines, if any. my last commercial, I said, "Is that you?" And no, I said, "Who is that?" You know, you say a lot less.
Sure.
Commercials, acting in general, every day is different. You never know what you're walking into. With commercials, they tend to have very long hours because they're technically shooting a mini movie in one day,
right?
Usually,
of course.
And you go in, you know your lines, and it's pretty much like any other acting gig, either on location or in a sound stage.
Right.
It tends to be less people, smaller crews, and it's fun, like all acting is. So it's fun.
Oh, of course. Well, and that poses the actual question, which is this: just so people understand this, if they get excited in hearing you say, "Oh, I do this commercial work," is it more of a likelihood or less of a likelihood, like you were talking about? Because you're the first one that's ever told me that you shot a commercial and it didn't see the light of day. So, are you always running that risk that chances are great that maybe half the time you'll film something that'll never get seen? Oh, goodness, that's discouraging.
And first of all, the chances of you getting a commercial.
Oh, my gosh. Well, we don't want to discourage everyone now. Trying to stay hopeful.
I really do. I want everyone in Wisconsin to stay there. Don't come to LA. No.
She's killing us here. All you people just stay in your states. Don't come to LA. Just stay there. Don't ever come here. I get it. We get it now. You don't want us. We understand. It's fine. It's okay. No, but that's got to be frustrating.
Well, commercials are hard to get. We talked about the big stars are not only taking the big movies, they're taking the little commercials. It's
really?
Like, Jennifer Aniston, how much can you sell? I mean, come on, Jennifer.
Give somebody else a chance. Come on.
Yeah.
She is beautiful, but still.
Yeah.
Well, right. And yes, exactly. I agree. I definitely agree with you because obviously commercial work is different. And, if you're doing big budget movie, do you really need to do a commercial? So I agree with you as far as that stuff goes.
Right.
And
it
makes a lot of sense.
I would be a spokesperson for anyone in a minute, in a heartbeat. So I get it. That,
oh, really? And she'll be a dirty old lady. And she'll sing if you just give her notice. Sorry. We covered that. I don't know if we want to say that on air to anyone that might be listening, but no. I like the versatility. That's
don't
cool,
know
though.
Me very well. You don't know.
I'm trying.
Very well.
I'm a little nervous to continue, but that's okay.
I tell people
now you gave
I have a pass.
Yeah, I bet you do. That brought us to a perfect segue for my list of questions here, because you had mentioned, of course, talking about speaking for certain things, etc. Now, I noticed that you and this is recent, right? That you just became a brand partner with is it pronounced Nerium or Nexium AD? Just so I get it right.
Yeah,
it's
you
Nerium.
Way too much. You way over researched me. Actually, I'm no longer a brand partner with them. You're a good researcher, though. Oh, did I lose you again?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now you can hear me?
Yes.
You can. Okay. That was strange, wasn't it? Oh, my gosh. Okay, so you can hear me. So you're no longer a brand partner. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry.
No.
I didn't know that. Oh, gosh. Well, I did my homework, though. Darn it.
You are a brilliant researcher.
But
that's
you.
What I mean by I have a pass, because you can find anything on the internet nowadays. When I was young, growing up, you could do all kinds of stuff. It would never, what happened in Vegas really stayed in Vegas, and
Right.
But now it's on the internet and it lives on forever.
Exactly right. See, that's exactly my point. And I was just trying to show and highlight how extensive she is, and, well, I guess she's not doing that. Okay, so let's talk about something I know that you've done. It's pretty clear in the course of this conversation that you all can figure out that she has at some point in her life and remains to this day doing stand-up comedy, because it feels like half of the show has been stand-up comedy. I want you to talk a little bit about, obviously it would appear as though comedy comes natural to you, but tell us about your experiences in stand-up comedy, meaning what made you gravitate to that, and do you still perform on occasion, even if it's just open mic, etc.?
I perform stand-up occasionally. To me, it is the most frightening experience on this earth.
Oh, my God. Really?
Oh, yeah. Like you said, in conversation, I do stand-up every day.
Well,
but
right.
As far as going on the stand-up stage, there are so many really good stand-ups, and you have to be consistent with it. You have to be constantly writing. You have to be constantly performing. And even though I think it's a lot of fun, and again, there are more opportunities now. There's little clubs all over town. You don't have to go to, the big comedy clubs and compete with the big guys. Right. There are all kinds of open mics all over town, in every city, matter of fact. And
just don't come to L.A. because she doesn't want you there.
Yes, exactly.
Just repeating. Don't come there.
She
doesn't want you there.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, we get it. We get it. We understand. But no, there's a lot of times that people just enjoy doing it because it's a break from their routine. Because, like, let's say you weren't like how you are now. Some people are very atypical when it comes to comedy. They're extremely serious and they want to do comedy because they want to try to be funny. Whereas you're funny and saying it frightens you. That's ironic. Wow.
Oh,
well, I would
all those people out there can talk back to you. When I'm acting, they can't talk back to me.
She doesn't want to be talked back to either, apparently. Imagine that one. I bet you're a real hoot on the set. Hey, pal, don't come near me. Okay, just don't even go there because we're done. Are you all right over there? I don't want to crack you up off there. But no, seriously, could you picture that? Who wants to direct her? No one. Apparently she's a little rough. It's okay. Are you kidding me? Have you looked at yourself? I would have never guessed that. No, seriously, folks. If you go look at her, she's graceful and very Gentile looking, and she's very classy and professional. You would never expect this little sassy thing this morning at 11:42 on my show. My gosh. But no, stand-up comedy is absolutely awesome. I have to say
that
one of the,
and I love doing it. I love doing improv in films. Again, I think I know the thing about improv is I don't want people talking back to me. I don't want heckling them. I don't want them to heckle me.
To anyone who wants to cast her, just keep that in mind. Period. For future reference, just in case it comes up. Now, on the flip side of the fence, it's funny how I just mentioned this whole sass thing.
I've lost you again. I don't know why we're having these difficulties.
And I thought that was just remarkable because not everyone.
I lost you again there for a second.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Now? Okay, good.
Yes.
I was just mentioning how ironic it is that little sassy lady on the phone here, one of the many life roles that I have listed for you is that you served as a missionary and a chaplain for the LA Mission. And I want to talk about that because I think that that's phenomenal. I mean, it's heart work, not just the hard work in life, but it's actual heart work. So I want to know, were you approached? Did you approach them? How did that work out? And what did that mean to you? From a professional, or I should say from a personal standpoint, of course, because it's heart work.
Well, when I had enough of Hollywood in the late 80s and I walked away, I didn't know what I was going to do. And I started volunteering at the LA Mission.
Oh, my gosh. And is that neat?
It turned into a job, which ultimately led to me being a chaplain there. Mm-hmm. And one of the chaplains was from Nicaragua and organized a missionary trip to Nicaragua while I was still working there. And I went, and I love doing short-term missions. And so then I ended up at some point leaving the LA Mission and then going on short-term overseas missions to Uganda and Ghana and the Bahamas and several places.
Now, I was just going to ask real quickly, when you serve in the capacity of being a chaplain, like, do you have to go through a whole process? Because, like, I'm Catholic, let's say. So in our case, like, when you're, clergy, et cetera, you have a whole inundation of different ceremonies or things you have to go through. Did you have to be trained to do all of that work, or no? How does that work?
I was trained as a lay person, even though I became ordained. I was trained as a lay person. So before I went to the LA mission, I had gone through, and they're like churches that have Bible classes as opposed to a Bible college. So, and again, for the 8 years that I was at the LA mission, I continued to study.
Okay.
And so, yeah, there were things I had to go through depending on what I was doing. When I worked at the LA mission, of course, I was doing more counseling. I was working with homeless women, women coming out of drugs and alcohol. When I would do the short-term missions, it would vary. It would be, handing out food and helping, assisting with some medical procedures. When we would take doctors' places, or handing out clothes. So
nice.
It would just depend, all kinds of things. And you have to be trained a little bit for all of it because, especially cross-cultural training, when you're going to places like Africa where the culture is different, you do need to understand the difference in the cultures and things. The culture on Skid Row has its own culture that you have to know about. So, I had to study.
And I bet you did, of course. And now, when you completed that, and I just want to understand the timeline, because I also know that you had done a USO tour. That was in East Asia, correct?
Right.
Did that happen? Was that in culmination with one another? Like one was part of the other, or did you do one first and then the second? Or
I did the USO tour when I was a student at LA City College.
Gotcha.
And LACC was, at the time, the only junior college that sent a USO tour to Far East Asia. And it was at the very end of the Vietnamese War. So that was a long time ago, but it was my
Not
first
that long.
trip
She's
overseas.
only 25. Okay.
Right. And it was my first glimpse at the world, and I guess that's what sparked a hunger for travel in me. So,
oh, nice.
I've done several trips, either working or pleasure or whatever, overseas. Whatever, but yeah, so they were separate. They were very far apart between the missionary and the USO. Were very far apart.
Gotcha. Well, right, but it's life experience. You know what I mean? You get to try, as you mentioned, it's the travel component. It's teaching other people and yourself about yourself and others. It's hard work, and I absolutely love the fact that you dedicated part of your life to doing something like that. It hasn't been just entertainment exclusive. You've lent your talents in other areas of the world and other people and places, which is amazing. I want to know about Baby Boomers Live, because you were acting as the co-host of that. It was unclear to me if you still do that anymore, or are you now not part of that entity anymore?
Now this one I still do. It's
we got one. Woo! Yes, I have one.
At 10 a.m.
Okay, gotcha. And
it's the internet radio show.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the easywaybroadcasting.com or easywayradio.com. And Baby Boomers Live is a show about all things human, but from a baby boomer's perspective.
Oh, neat.
So we talk about all kinds of stuff, but, sometimes we need to just steer it towards baby boomers. Like I do a segment called Tech Time. And so many baby boomers are so anti-technology. They don't want to learn it. They don't care about it. And I try to ease them into it. And it's like, look, guys, if you don't learn how to do this, pretty soon you're not going to be able to pay your bills. You're not going to be able to shop. You're not going to be able to do anything. And the longer you wait to learn it, the harder it's going to be to learn. And so you don't have to tell millennials that. You don't have to tell 2-year-olds that. They know how to swipe left. You know, too.
Right. No, I agree with you. I do.
You tell a baby boomer to swipe left, and they have no idea. You know, it's like, oh, bring me the pledge. You want me to dust? You know, they don't know. So.
Right. No, I agree with you.
So we talk about everything on our show. It's a half an hour, 45-minute show. And,
got it. And that's Mondays. Is it every Monday then? At the same time slot?
Every Monday.
Okay.
Yep. Every Monday, 10 a.m. The letter E, the letter Z, way. No, easywayradio.com.
Thank you for that. Good that you know what station you're on. That's important because we want to make sure that we know that. Definitely. You can hear her talk about being a dirty old woman. Oh, there that came again. And, of course, we don't want to forget to mention, because that's a real far stretch. We're kind of getting the sense that this could probably fit you pretty well, I'm thinking. Now, I also know.
Cougar has been used.
Well, now that she went there. All right. So, I guess we should throw it out there for some of the older gentlemen that might be listening into the show and may want to score a date. Oh, wait, they can't come to L.A. because you forbid them to. But if they live there, I guess we should ask about your current status from a romantic level because, of course, we just like knowing that stuff on this show. We're all about the romance. Not the dirty. We're about the romance on this show. So inquiring minds want to know if you're... Yeah.
Cindy, you're moving into that area where I'm just not there right now.
Gotcha.
I'm open.
Oh, she's open, kids. You know what that means. Don't show up in L.A., but just Facebook
you have to
her, and then she'll consider it.
You have to
already be here.
Don't expect me to move any place where they have weather. My friends go on these dating apps, and they meet these guys that live in Minnesota, and it's like, really? Are you going to move to Minnesota? No, I mean, I'm not.
Right.
So
no. Well, and why should you? You know what I mean? That's exactly right. If they want you, they'll be there. It's just that simple. Okay, see, boys, so I cleared it up for you. You got the Sedgway to ask her out on a date. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Now, we don't want to forget about the other thing, which may or may not be in existence, apparently. Gray Images. Extra casting.
Oh, that.
Are you still?
That's back in my history.
Oh, here we go again. Okay.
That was my 80s. That was the life in the 1980s. I did extra
that was
casting.
Cool. Yes, and for Baker Boys.
Cool.
Oh my gosh, I'm like Baker Boys. I know that
Baker
production.
Boys.
Yes, that was awesome.
The Baker Boys. It was. And I did Back to the Beach with Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon, which was I felt like I'd really been in a beach party movie because I cast the extras for it.
Oh my gosh, how funny is that? That's so cute.
I'm a Get You Sucker, which was a Hoot cast.
Oh, I remember that. Okay, gotcha.
So I did casting I do everything for about like a decade. Decades of my life.
But she's like, I'm over it after that. Apparently, did you hear that, men? So she'll like do the relationship for like a decade, and then it's over. She's moving on to the next one. She's got stuff.
That's true. I never thought about.
Oh my God!
That's true. Oh my God.
Here on live radio, you just found out. So you're good for a decade, and then you're gone. So don't get excited or anything. She's gonna be out there like 2 days later. Just kidding. Okay. Now, speaking of her being a dirty old lady, get this, folks. One of the things I saw she participated in, and you know I'm going to ask, is it because of you-know-who? She participated in this charity thing called the Peace Fund Games, and that's actually Adrian Paul's event. Now, isn't Adrian Paul that really good-looking guy?
Yes.
Isn't he?
And he's short. Oh, I probably should say that. But he's really cute.
I know. Hello. Gee, I wonder why she did that event. Actually, I brought it up because obviously, of course, that is kind of neat to be able to participate in things like that. It actually did sound like quite the event, actually. Were you just invited to that, or is that something that you knew him, or?
No, I didn't know him prior to that.
Okay.
I try to do charity events. I enjoy doing charity events.
Sure.
I like to, help organizations raise money. I don't have a lot of celebrity, but what little I have, I try to use for good.
Oh my gosh, listen to you. You're so celebrity. Duh.
Oh, I like to think I am. However,
no. Well,
remember
keep telling yourself that in your head.
Was on the D. Well,
yes.
When Kathy Griffin was on the D list. You know, I hover between the C and the D, so I'm trying to.
Oh, knock it off. Listen to her. She's so silly. No, but I assume that, there's oftentimes you go to things like this, and I bet that was a fun event, wasn't it? I'm guessing.
Well,
I wasn't invited.
It was a dangerous event. They were paintball. Yeah, they were doing paintball. And we had on all this combat type stuff. And
gotcha.
I got all dressed up, and I had my paintball gun, and I was all ready to do this, and then they told me it hurts. And then the professional ones started showing me their black and blue bruises from where,
my gosh.
And they thought this was fun. And so I walked up the hill, and I took pictures, and then I walked back down the hill and changed clothes. I did not actually participate.
Oh, my God. I'm going to go to that event, but I stood there. Does that count? Kind of?
Well, see, that was a real celebrity move, because that's what celebrities usually do. They usually come.
I'm here, and I'm standing around to take a picture. There you go. I was here, just so you know. That was me right over there. How funny are you? Oh, my gosh, that's too cute.
Exactly.
Now, before we talk about...
Adrian's wonderful.
Well, and I imagine that he is. I haven't had the pleasure. I've heard, via other people and such like that, but I've never, been in a room or been able to chit-chat. So lucky you. My gosh, you have been where some women really want to go, so to speak. So congratulations. Even if you didn't paintball, we understand. Now, before we talk about your TV and film thing, I don't want to forget to mention this. Now, the work you did on the ION channel for A Husband for Christmas, is that out and showing now, or what's the status on that? Because I know you participated in that project.
I actually saw a screening of it the other day. It is such a cute romantic comedy. It really is. For those of us who love sentimental, cute, we know how it's going to end, romantic comedies. This is one. You'll love it. It's on the ION channel. It actually airs the first time on the 11th. It also airs on Christmas Eve, and I think it airs 2 times in between. It's the ION channel, ION. Check your local listings for the times and where Channel ION is in your area. But it really is cute. It stars Vivica Fox and Rico Ross and Eric Roberts and Jack A. Harris and me.
Oh, my gosh, yes. Hey, you know what? I wonder, I was just talking to a publicist who asked me to interview Jack A., actually. So that's ironic. So she might be coming to my program. And let's hope I get my facts straight. And I'm not reporting things that happened 87 years ago.
Well, Jack A's got a long history too. She's got a bunch of exciting stuff. And matter of fact, I saw her at the screening the other day. She came to the screening.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's awesome. That is.
Yeah, matter of fact, for the African Oscars, Jack A and Vivica Fox were up against me in the same category, and I won. I'm just saying.
Boy. I bet they love you right now.
Yeah, who's cute? Well, I thought
her.
it was really funny that it's like the 3 out of the 5 people in the category were in the Husband for Christmas movie together. So and I was thrilled to be nominated in their company and shocked when I won. So.
Well, and I was going to ask you about that, obviously, because the first time we were supposed to interview is right when you were being nominated. Obviously, now you have won for Best Supporting Actress. And just so you folks know, it's for the Nollywood African Film Critics Award. They were the ones who awarded her for Best Supporting Actress. So I guess I have to ask you this. Because of the fact that you've won this award, does that mean that you awards are funny things. Like, for instance, we go to film festivals, films win awards, laurels and things, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're rich and that, that sort of stuff. Oftentimes the award means more to the heart, to the pocketbook. Now, in this particular case, why were you so surprised, I guess? I am told that your work was phenomenal in this project. I wish I had a chance to see it, which I have not. But why, I guess I'm surprised at the reaction. I would have thought that you would be the preferred favorite to win, actually, in that category. So I guess, you really were that surprised or taken aback by your win.
I really was. I was not expecting it. I had seen Vivica in Chocolate City, because both of us were also in Chocolate City.
Gotcha.
So I had seen her performance. I hadn't seen any of the other women's performances, but I know Jack A's work. So I was surprised. I mean, Hollywood surprises you. People are always saying that they think that, people win for their body of work as opposed to when they actually win the award. So
gotcha.
Even though I enjoy every performance, I was shocked. And I was in such good company.
Well, and she also acts like this has never happened before. So just so you know, folks, back in 2013 for the EOTM Awards, she was named Outstanding Reality Star. So, bam, that's not your first award. So maybe it shouldn't have been so surprising.
Well, that one shocked me, too. Like I said, my first part of my career when I was younger, I never got any awards, and I have a little trophy case with my little trophies in them. So,
oh, look at how special she is. She's got little awards there. She's meeting all these really attractive guys, preventing everyone from moving to L.A. Boy, she's got a lot of plates going on at once. Now, I want to talk a little bit about your repertoire as it relates to TV. Just so you folks know, let me just tell you some of the things she's been involved with. She's done General Hospital, The Newsroom, Three's Company, iCarly, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, How I Met Your Mother, Key and Peele, and, of course, obviously the Betty White production, Off the Rockers. So I have a couple questions for you about this. First of all, I'm a journalist. Finally got tipped off to watching The Newsroom like a couple months ago, and I finally watched it. Can I just say that I'm blaming you because they canceled the show and it's not on? Because it was great. What did you do? Why is it not on anymore?
I know.
What happened?
I know.
Who dropped the ball? I think it's your fault.
I think it lasted a season beyond me.
Right, because it was it was actual 3 seasons, and they finally ended it, of course. And it was the coolest ending. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to tell everybody because it might wreck it for you, because you really should watch it. HBO Productions puts on some absolutely amazing things, and that one was just, and I can relate to it, of course, but I mean, it just was, it was so neat. The way that it was done, the format it was set up in, it was so real, very surreal for me, so I thought that was amazing. But Three's Company is a staple.
I think The Newsroom was a little hardcore for the general public.
You think so? Really?
Yeah, I think it was a little insider. I think it was a little insider for the general public.
No, I would agree with that. I definitely think I took a heck of a lot more away from that than somebody who's non-industry as it relates to that sort of thing. So, that part. I think powerful casting, powerful writing, powerful concepts being brought across, things to think about. I think those are amazing.
But is that
I still want to know.
Really watch TV for? No, we watch TV to be mindless.
Well, I know. I know that, but we don't say that. Shh.
Oh.
Don't tell people that stuff. Man, are you naughty. That's it. I'm talking to Marie about this. Get her under control. What are you drinking? It's noon. Well, that is a good idea. Anyway, so Three's Company, integrating into a program like, that's iconic. That's been around forever. How exciting must have that been to be on a set like Three's Company? Because we all remember that from being kids. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it was wonderful because I worked, this was very early in my career, so I worked mainly as an extra on Three's Company. But then because I was a consistent extra, they would give me lines every once in a while. So I still even get checks from Three's Company. They may be $3 checks, but they're checks nonetheless.
That's so cool.
And I got to kind of work on the show through the history of all the Chrissies on the show, all the blondes, all the different ones.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
And because I was an extra, I was very good at the job of an extra is to really not be seen. People think that, I'm going to be an extra and I'm going to get discovered. No, your job as an extra is to not be visible. And so I was very good at it. So I could be an extra every week. And you would see the back of my head or the side of my head or whatever. So I could work consistently as an extra. And then if I got a line like once every, couple of months, I'd be happy. So it was a fun show to work on.
Oh, I imagine. Oh, well, I can't even imagine that. My goodness gracious. Now, of course, off the rockers. Clearly, when you work with the likes of Betty White, you've obviously been in the presence of greatness. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Her resilience and her just on-screen magnetism is amazing. So just two questions relative to that show. First of all, obviously, we don't want to know what Betty White is like because who doesn't want to know Betty White? But more importantly, do you feel as though in today's television, like you said, because we want so much content variety, do people really embrace and appreciate a show like that because we're dealing with the senior community, the baby boomers, sort of that whole generational type television program? Do you feel that it's appreciated by today's society because there's just so many options, so many different choices? What makes this show such a success?
The problem for the show that it didn't succeed was not that it didn't appeal to people. The show had kind of a universal family appeal. So when I would talk to the fans, they would tell me things like, I watched the show with my mother and my daughter. There would be 3 generations of people watching the show together.
Nice.
It would be men and women watching the show together.
Sure.
But it was family. The problem is television, for the most part, is still trying to appeal to the millennials.
Right,
and
I agree.
The rest of us want to watch TV too. So sometimes you want to sit down with your family and be able to everybody enjoy it. Everybody laugh on some level or enjoy it at some level. And when the show first started off and copied the original that had come over from Belgium, it was more of a family show. As the seasons progressed, it became more millennial geared. I'll put it that way.
Okay, I gotcha.
And that, to me, is the crueler type humor, the crueler pranks.
Right.
And wasn't who was watching our show. So where we started off with a really big audience, that wasn't 18 to 35, grant you, but we had sizable numbers. Even the last year, we had sizable numbers on cable. It just wasn't the group that they wanted to advertise to. And so the show ended up getting canceled. But it appealed to the family audience and was very successful the first 2 seasons on NBC. But even the second season, we had gotten a little bit more naughty. And we started losing ground. But we never had the audience that they wanted.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because we certainly had much better ratings than a lot of the other shows.
Oh, I imagine so, definitely. And like, I've seen the show before, and I appreciate the content. I don't know if it's because I'm mid-40s, you know what I mean? I'm not, 20-year-old or 30-year-old kid or whatever have you. And I appreciate the characters that are on it, and obviously, like I said, Betty White, obviously. What is that like? Is it intimidating? I'd be afraid to be around her. I mean, that's like intimidating, you know what I mean? I mean, not that she's terrible. I mean, she's lovely, you know what I mean?
Well, that's just it. At the first couple of days, it was extremely intimidating. I mean, even in the audition process, she was in the final audition because she's one of the producers, so she was there. And that was intimidating because you walk out and there's long table of people. It was the network audition. There must have been 20, 30 people sitting at this long table that went all the way across the room. And you're doing this audition, and Betty White is sitting in the center of the table, and where you're doing the scene is directly in front of her.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, it's Betty White, for real. And she just smiled, and she was so nice. But the first couple of days actually working with her, I was terrified but she was so nice and so kind and just such a professional and so wonderful to everybody.
Oh,
that by the end of the second day, we were all just buddies, you know. And
aw, that's so sweet.
remember,
that is awesome.
Oh, it really was. And I have 2 days that really stood out. One day I was doing a scene with Betty and I, and it was one they used in a lot of the promos and different things, with Betty and I drinking out of these giant wine glasses. And they decided they wanted smoke in the room for ambience. Well, I was reacting to the smoke, and my eyes were watering, and I was sniffling, and I thought, Betty is going to say, get this girl away from me. She's sick. I mean, I just had all these visions of Betty turning into this diva all of a sudden. And she was so sweet. She was like, oh, are you okay? Can I get you anything? Do they need to get you anything? Do we need to stop? Are you all right? She was so sweet and so kind. I kept saying, Betty, I'm not sick. It's just the smoke. She said, it's okay. It's okay. Take your time.
Oh,
she
my
was
gosh.
so nice. And then the other incident, we were on the tarmac in Santa Monica, and it was hot. We were sitting on this black asphalt, and it's just heat's rising from above and coming down, and it was just awful. And we were just whining. Now, Betty was the oldest cast member. I was the youngest cast member. So all the rest of us, there were 14 of us, I think, at the time, and we were just whining and complaining. It's hot. We don't have any umbrellas. Where's the water? We were just being brats, and we, simultaneously kind of all turned around and looked at Betty. And Betty's just sitting there smiling. And we thought about it. Oh, maybe we should shut up, huh?
I can somehow picture Betty White and you being the dirty old ladies in the commercial. Oh, just a thought.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. No need to even think twice
idol.
about that one. Oh,
yeah, she's my idol.
That's so sweet. Listen to that. Hey, and just so you know, you have hope, folks, because I just heard on the newswire, Kirk Douglas turned 100, and he's still acting. So if he can act at 100, there's faith for all the rest of you people. I can't act, but I mean all the rest of you that want it. And stay out of L.A. because she doesn't want you there, just so you remember, for the 15th time.
I actually worked with Kirk Douglas.
Oh, my God. Are you joking?
I'm serious. When I was doing casting, I cast a TV movie. It was one of the last big things that he did. He did a TV movie.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of it, but it was about a senior citizens place where Elizabeth Montgomery was the head nurse, and she was killing people. And he was infiltrating the old folks' home and ended up getting her busted. But I worked with him for, I think it was 3 weeks on this movie out in Ojai. And now you want to talk about movie star royalty.
Oh,
Kirk
my
Douglas
God.
was so regal. He was so old school movie star. It was amazing to be around him.
Oh, I imagine so. I mean, that's a memory right there, and people don't realize that. I mean, I get excited. Well, I get excited just talking to people I do on my show, and then when I meet them in person or I meet people that are on TV, film, etc., it's a neat experience. But he is a legend. You don't get a lot of the legends anymore. Sadly, they've all left us. I know they're little by little passing.
And the millennials don't know who they are. They have no idea who some of these people are.
Well, I look at George Clooney and I just think Cary Grant. I'm like, George Clooney is pretty close to the old school Cary Grant, the older Hollywood generation, because we don't have a lot of that left, which is sad,
George
for me.
Clooney comes from Hollywood royalty, so.
I know, and he got beat with the beauty stick, folks. Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whew. I bet I could find him in L.A. if you let me in, which you can't, but if I could, I bet we could probably meet him there. Or Italy.
I'll let George come in. George can come in.
Oh, George. I guess you can come visit.
I've lost you again.
Chocolate City you mentioned. So you've actually worked with the same gals more than once. Chocolate City intrigued me, actually. Tell the folks a little bit of the backstory of what that Chocolate City story is about, because I find that very intriguing.
Well, Chocolate City is kind of a Magic Mike kind of movie. It's male strippers. I did not get to see one of them strip. I was not happy about that. But it's about male strippers.
Did she just say that? And I'm the bad one. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I'm learning things on the show. Dang! She didn't warn me about you. Oh, my God.
I don't think she knows.
Oh, my God. Wait till she listens to this show. No, but Chocolate City, I thought it was a really neat idea. That's why I was like, okay, fine. That's why I want you to talk about it, of course. And what was your involvement in the film?
I just had a small part in the film. I was kind of the catalyst for this kid saying he was going to be a stripper because he had to pay the light bill. And so I was like, the light bill lady, and it's like, no, you have to pay this bill now. So he decided he would go out and be a male stripper. And there are a lot of nice young bodies in that movie. What can I tell you? And
did you hear that, folks? There's the reason to see the movie. Bodies.
That's definitely the reason to see it. Absolutely.
And is it available?
Robert, it's available on demand, I'm sure. Still.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought, because I was having a little trouble, and I thought to myself, it's got to be accessible somewhere. I just didn't know where, so I thought you might have some idea.
That's just between Netflix and Amazon. It's
gotcha. It's out
somewhere. Yeah.
It's somewhere. It's somewhere in the great beyond. There you go.
Absolutely. So, but it's a fun. It's not for kids. Chocolate City. It's
not age appropriate.
I guess it's not age appropriate.
Go with your girlfriend. It's like one step down from 50 Shades.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Definitely the over 21 group. I probably over 18, but.
We'll keep that in mind when we're watching it. Don't have the kids up when you turn this on the Netflix, is all she's trying to say.
Right.
Now, we don't want to neglect to mention this, and I'm pretty sure that my research is accurate with this. For upcoming, we talked about A Husband for Christmas, which is on the Ion channel. Now, The Terror, you were involved with that production, right? Or that project, The Terror? That's upcoming, correct?
That's upcoming. I don't know when that's coming out. It missed last Halloween, so I think it might have to come out next Halloween. That's the thing with movies.
Gosh.
I did a bunch of movies in a row, I guess in 2015. And movies turnaround is so much greater than TV turnaround. So you do a TV show, it's more than likely going to come on within 6 months.
Sure.
If you do a movie, it could be 4 years before it comes out.
I know, right? I don't think people get that. A lot of my friends are directors, and they're like, yeah, we shot it like 3 years ago, but then I had to deliver pizza, and I had to do other stuff. They don't realize that all these outside things come into play before you can get to that whole thing. So it's in the works, folks. It's in the works.
Absolutely.
It'll be
It's
released eventually.
going to be a really good one. It's going to have some wonderful special effects. So
we like that.
They'll probably hold it until next Halloween. It's a great Halloween.
Gotcha. So we'll be looking forward to that to next year as far as that goes. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I've been doing a bunch of horror movies in a row. So between The Terror and Betrothed, those were two scary movies. So, but they've taken time to come out. Betrothed did finally come out,
right.
And Betrothed is available. It's available on Amazon.com, and now that is a bloody, scary movie.
Ew.
Yeah, it's a slasher movie. Yeah.
See, now that's
if you're not into slasher, don't go see this. I'm not responsible for your nightmares.
Well, and that's what I find interesting. Is seriously, this doesn't bother you? I mean, because obviously people that do horror on set, so I'm gathering that you already know what's coming, etc. But still, doesn't that you're not frightened by that genre? Like even working in it, you know what I mean? Like because you're on set, you know what I mean?
I don't really
watch
it.
But you're living it, remember?
Right.
I mean, you're in it. Like you're standing there. Like, how do you avoid that?
I was screaming when I watched the movie. I was screaming in my own scenes. I knew what happened. I was still screaming watching the movie. You know,
oh my
that
gosh.
kind of blood and gore. So if you're not into that, don't see the joke. Don't tell the producers I said that. But that's
she's getting herself
reality.
in so much trouble here. Definitely.
Yeah, I live in trouble.
Now, is Betrothed available also on your network? Netflix, Amazon, etc. Because we want people to take a look at that because that's how you win the award.
On Amazon. Yeah, I know that that's available on Amazon. And then, oh my goodness, I've got another.
Did you forget?
One called.
Okay.
Yes, I keep wanting to call it Resurrection, but that's not what it is. Restoration. That's the name. I've got another horror movie called Restoration, which is also available on Amazon and Netflix.
Gotcha.
And it's a horror movie also.
She seems to be digging this horror thing lately.
But I'm not really. It was like I did 3 of them in a row. But like I said, they've taken a couple of years to come out. And so Restoration's out. It's more of a psychological thriller.
Yes.
And then Betrothed is the hacker movie.
Yes. Let me say this entire radio show has been a psychological thriller of sorts. I'm just going to go on a limb to say something like that. Now, we have 2 more things to finish up here on the show, and then you can go off and do your happy, wonderful thing that you do, and I get to spend the next 2 hours writing at this laptop. I've been a professional writer for years and years, and I got commissioned to write this textbook. I'm contributing to a filmmaker textbook, and it's very technical. You know how you have to do well, you know, you're an actress, where you have to do things you have to, let's say you had to act in the opposite way of what you're used to. I'm used to more creative writing. I do scripts and screenplays and other things. So when I have to write very technical, I get very bored. It's like being very bored doing something you love, if that makes sense. Like, it's my thing, but it's a paycheck. It's not like the thing I love to do. So I have to sit here and gruel through 2 more hours of writing. Now you can
kind of like doing horror movies.
Ding, ding. Pays the bills. You know what I'm saying? Keeps the lights on, or we don't have radio. We got no lights, we got no internet, we got no radio. See, so you wouldn't be here. So I want to do a couple things here. First of all, I want to say to Marie Lamel, hello. First of all, thank you 100 times over for this interview with this beautiful young lady. In case some of you might be happening to be looking for representation, Marie Lamel represents Platinum Star Public Relations and Management. She is the reason we met at the San Diego Horror Film Festival, and she says, I've got this great client you got to meet, and this is how we got hooked up today. So, Marie, thank you so much. I have to say you were just as lovely. Your clients are just as lovely as you are. And I can say this because I was standing next to Marie on a red carpet. We had a lovely time. She's an absolutely lovely woman that gave me every reassurance that you were going to be just as wonderful. So, Marie, thank you so much for hooking us up for this. I'm going to read off a list of this, but first, before I do, these are all the places where people can find you. So I get this right. It's pronounced, is it Reatha? I didn't want to say your name wrong.
Reatha.
And I did screw it up. Number 3 I got wrong today. I'm reporting old news, and now it's Reatha. Okay, Reatha. So just so you folks know, Reatha's name is spelled Reatha, and it's Grey is her last name. She has both a Facebook personal page, which is, of course, her name, as well as her Reatha Grey actress page, her fan page. Her website is reathagray.com. She has a Twitter handle, which is also at Reatha Grey. She has an IMDb profile. As she mentioned, she is easywayradio.com. The name of the show is Baby Boomers Live, which takes place on Monday for approximately 45 minutes, according to her. Her program, which is A Husband for Christmas, I should say film, which is on the ION channel, and you can find that on iontelevision.com for details as to when you can see it. And her other productions, of course, found on Netflix and Amazon.com. Any place else where people can find you?
All they have to do is Google Reatha Grey, ReathaGrey, and my face will pop up. There's only one Reatha
My face
Grey.
will pop up. It's the dirty old lady right there. Now, the last thing that I get to do on the show is, I get one last thing here. And the last thing I always do is I get to tell my guests what I think of them. This is the only part of the show that is non-scripted. And the reason I do that is because it's straight from the soul is what I call it. These are my impressions so that people get an understanding of what I think of you both personally and professionally. And you get to rest your voice for 2 minutes, and then I let you go. So these are my impressions of you, young lady. To admit, oftentimes that when a publicist approached me about doing an actress of this magnitude, it always makes me very nervous. Not because of the fact that she has lined up 57 awards or that she is a glamorous diva on the red carpet, but because of the fact that she has persistence and patience and passion in an industry that sometimes and oftentimes doesn't recognize that fact very well. She started out, as you heard her say, a very long time ago in the entertainment business, and she has been in and out, and her time has been spent immensely wisely. Not because, again, she racked up a bunch of awards, but she racked up a bunch of accolades in her personal life that enrich her heart and the hearts of many others. She's done a number of things from a charity perspective. She's done a number of projects that make us laugh, smile, cry, be afraid. She is not afraid to take on a role and make a fool of herself publicly or professionally or personally. She enjoys being the butt of the joke from what you can tell, and we appreciate that. And why? Because life in 2016 is very serious. People in life are very serious. They take for granted the fact that everyone who says that they're an actress has talent. The lady on the other end of this phone has talent because she is naturally magnetic. When I say that, she's got a sparkling personality, she has a smile, and she's got this sense about herself that makes you want to laugh at her because she's just that cute. She's little and she's spunky and sparkly and funny and cute and professional, and she has an understanding of her business. She has an understanding of her limits, and she's capable and more than willing to work within the parameters of the business to keep herself well known and active and acknowledged in the community. One of the best parts about meeting you today is the fact that I find you remarkable because you are so in tune with who you are and what the industry is like. I appreciate the fact that you are a strong female presence on screen. I appreciate your work and the fact that you took the time to come and share part of yourself with me. I think you're absolutely lovely. I would love to come to LA and say that I'll meet you, because I am going to come to LA whether you like it or not, eventually, even though it's not New York. And I would love to see your beautiful face, even if it's not on a red carpet, just to see you do stand-up so I can laugh at you this time, instead of you laughing at my shortcoming on the show today. Not really shortcoming, I just screwed up a little, but that's okay. I do have to say that I have appreciated every moment of this. You are truly a gem, and I appreciate it so much. And you can come back anytime you'd like, if you want to. I would love that.
Well, thank you so much, and being on the show has been absolutely wonderful.
Wasn't it fun?
It was, and I will grant you a pass to come to California.
She said I could come. I could visit, and I have permission from her.
Visit basis.
Ouch! Did you hear that? Listen to her. You're not welcome here but once. It's okay. Okay? Just one time.
You can come periodically. You just can't
Oh,
stay.
my God. That's it. I'm taking this up with Marie. Off air, thank you very much. All right, get off my show now and go act or do something. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, dear. I do. Thank you so much for everything.
Have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been
Anytime,
so
darling.
much fun.
Thank you. All right, we'll talk to you later. Have a great day, darling.
You too. Bye-bye. I
either have them laughing or crying, right? Welcome to my world on the Sin Chat Corner show. Again, one more time, Reatha Grey, telephone number, like I have her number. It's Reatha, and that's R-E-A-T-H-A, and the last name, again, is spelled Grey, G-R-E-Y. Her works can be found in the following places: Netflix.com, Amazon.com. Easy Way Radio, of course, is her production. She is a co-host of the Baby Boomers live show, and that's on Monday. And, of course, obviously, Ion Television will be premiering, actually, I should say premiered the other night, A Husband for Christmas, and that is IonTelevision.com. Her Twitter handle, again, is at Reatha Grey. She has an IMDb profile, a Facebook personal page, and, of course, her fan page for her actress work, as well as the website itself, which is ReathaGrey.com. Again, Reatha, this was just absolutely amazing. I was a little nervous about doing a show because I'm a little panicked about the writing, and you just made it such a wonderful experience, and I can't thank you enough. One more big shout-out to Marie Lamel. Thank you 100 times over. I respect the work that you do and the clients that you bring to me. So, again, so very, very appreciative of that. Thank you. as I mentioned, do keep track of the Sin's Chat Corner page or my personal page to check out and find out who our guest will be next week. I believe I could squeeze in one show next week, and then the week of the 20th, we're going to be taking some time to get caught up on radio and get to New York City. So, folks, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody that listened in today. I hope that your weekend is wonderful. I hope I finish my chapter book today, and I could rest a little bit this weekend. Enjoy your time off, and we'll talk to you next week.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.
What you doing?
Ran out of space on my phone, so I'm deleting some stuff. By singing dog. By goal.
I pronounce you.
By wedding ceremony.
Stop. At Metro PCS, you get 2 free phones with twice as much memory.
Really?
Don't say bye to your memories. Switch to Metro PCS and get 2 free LG K20 Plus phones with 32 gigs when you switch 2 lines. Metro PCS. Wireless. Figure it out. Coverage not available in some areas. Sales tax not included in phone price. Excludes numbers on the T-Mobile network. See store for details and terms and conditions.